in this race is that some of these guys might not have had a lot of time in it. We'll have to wait and see how things play out as they take to the grid, and it will be Greg Brazow and Chris Rawlings on the front row, Lucas Gortman, Chris Lockwood on the second row, Tyler Daniels and Ashton Hooker on the third row, Richard Browning, Anthony Karen on the fourth row, Robert Trask and Jeremy Gaiman rounding out the top 10. Then Andy Shaner and John Dalton, 11th and 12th. 13th is Matthew Wheeler. Marty Brown is 14th. Bob Burlew is 15th. Jim Dowman is 16th. Kevin Gironi, 17th. 18th is David Trumbley. 19th is Keith Fonseca. Anthony Hooker is 20th. And Dustin Sluter is starting 21st.
You know, and I just noticed we actually have Tyler Daniels himself in this race. He's a young man who has brought a lot of speed over the past year. He's upgraded his equipment. He's trained really hard. He's actually part of the McConey Setup Shop official team. I wouldn't be surprised if he came in here and won it all. Typically, he does better in earlier events. As time goes on, he gets a little tired in the late night events that we do at TDR. But I would put my money on him being in the top 3 easily.
Yeah, and if it was a road course, I'd probably put him being in the top 2, because he is just having been on track with him on a road course in equal cars. He just kind of walks away from a lot of guys, so it'll be interesting. I've not actually got to see him. I take that back. I saw him race oval one time at Phoenix, and unfortunately he had that early exit. But hopefully he'll have a good run here tonight. We'll have to wait and see, but it's going to be a lot of fun.
I see Jim Downham sitting there in the 28. So one of the names on our board is Joe Downham. That's Jim's brother, who he lost earlier, just about a month ago. Avis Daniels obviously is related to Tyler Daniels. What was the other name? The difficult one. Suzanne Tresoris, I believe, was mother-in-law to Jim Downham, and Michelle Brennan was a dear family friend to the Tyler Daniels family.
As they roll off pit road, one of the few times I'm actually going to use the little drone cam to show off a few of these paint schemes as they roll off pit road. And so we can look at the hoods on some of these cars, especially these ones that have been specially painted for tonight. I know Andy Shaner's got his right there with the 4 names that we have.
I love this view. You should do this more often as they roll to the green.
Looking through here and seeing, we saw Andy Shaner. He's got the names, as does Jim Dowman. Kevin Gironi has that beautiful American flag and Twin Towers paint scheme. David Trumbley, Keith Fonseca, and Anthony Hooker, another one running an American flag scheme. So definitely some great schemes out here that really, really fitting of the night.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so I guess it's time for us to take a deep breath because it's about to get a little bit busy. I'm really, really interested to see what these cars do here.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of shaking. We're going to see a lot of moving left and right. These things can stick to the track, but it's how aware the drivers are going to be. I don't think we're going to get a lot of nose-to-tail stuff. I think we're going to get a lot of door-to-door stuff.
I think you're right. And green flag in the air. They're down and away. 21 drivers going for the win here tonight, and all of them doing it in memory of those lost.
And we see them rolling out side by side. I think they're going to run like this for a while. As long as we don't get a caution early on, I would expect that these guys will filter out to single file at some point.
More than likely, probably so. But, the other thing that does occasionally happen, these cars have a 5-speed sequential gearbox. So that can make things very interesting as they go off into turn 3 and you see every single line on the track being used by all the drivers, and a little bit of a close call at the back as they are 5 wide coming down the front straightaway.
Only in the next generation, right?
Oh my goodness. And they're staying 4 wide off into turn 1, so everybody in the top 15 and we've got a car spinning off the track. Didn't see, it looks like Dustin Sluter was down on the apron. Not sure exactly what happened, but he ended up completely sideways going down the apron, gets it straightened out. Fortunately, he'll have an opportunity. He should not lose a lap before that early caution.
Yeah, I think he'll be okay as long as he can catch up to the back end of the field and maintain pace. He should be okay staying on the lead lap.
Yeah, I mentioned the 5-speed sequential because I know of a couple of guys that the first time they raced in these cars, they weren't actually aware that there was a 5th gear in them. One of my buddies ended up blowing his engine, but he led most of the race. We've got a wreck off of turn 2, caution.
Yep, multiple cars. That'll bring out the first yellow we're going to see tonight.
Looks like Robert Trask was involved. Let's see if we can get a look at what happened here.
Yeah, it looks like the wall just kind of.
Oh, the 17 got loose, and I think
Trask.
Yeah, and then the 18 got caught, and actually, Anthony Hooker and Richard Browning, all three got caught. I think Browning came out ahead. No, he's got heavy damage to the right rear. Ashton Hooker, excuse me, a lot of damage on the left side, and obviously Trask severely damaged. Those three are going to have to go in and get some repairs here.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many they have for this race, but that's the beauty of online esports and iRacing is they're going to have at least one quick repair so they can go get their quick pit stop, get their damage taken care of, get back on the track, and remain competitive.
Yeah, and you know there's groups that run hardcore with no fast repairs, and it definitely makes things interesting. But an event like this, there is wrecking under caution.
Well, that's unusual.
Let's see what happened there. It looked like somebody was trying to get checked up. It looks like the 11 car was trying to check up. The 18 had to get evasive, and a couple of more cars get collected. So now Richard Browning again involved. Keith Fonseca and Bob Berlew also caught up in that. And just looks like some of that chaos as they're trying to get back to where they need to be.
Yeah, if my memory serves me correctly, I do believe Richard Browning is primarily a road course racer from across the pond, so maybe he's not familiar with what we do on the ovals under caution.
Well, let's see. He's actually showing from, UK and Ireland. So, yeah. And I race with some guys that definitely are from different places throughout the world, and it does make things a little bit interesting. If you've grown up with oval racing versus road racing, there's a couple of little things that you always have to learn.
Yeah, traditionally in road racing, it's full throttle all the way around the course until you get up to the pace car and you whoa up there because you can't get a ton of speed going, right? You maybe down the straightaway, but there's a bunch of corners to slow you down. On the ovals, you really got to watch for those cars in front of you because when they check up, you have to be ready to do the same and hope the guy behind you doesn't plow into you.
Exactly. And the other thing about that is these cars, while being new and nice and kind of cool and whatnot, they don't exactly have the best brakes out there. So, you've got that issue as well that these cars just don't stop on a dime.
Yeah, and a part of my attrition when it comes to how I run races, on paved oval under yellow, I will try to stagger my car outside of the guy ahead of me and the guy behind me. So when someone's coming up behind me, I'll go low if he's up high. That way, if he does go past me, he doesn't end up rear-ending me. Likewise, if the guy in front of me checks up, I have room to get up beside him as opposed to running up his rear bumper.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Both drivers really have to be aware, and that's kind of the situation. You always got to be paying attention, always know what's going on around you, as it looks like about half the field actually went to pit road this time. Obviously, Tyler Daniels looked like he might have caught a little bit of that. He went to pit road. Dustin Sluter, Ashton Hooker, Bob Berlew, obviously the guys involved, Keith Fonseca, but a lot of the guys further back. But as I mentioned, tire wear not as bad in these cars as it is in the current gen car, so they don't really have to stop, and track position might be a huge thing here tonight.
Yeah, and I think as we watched Tyler Daniels' last car exiting the pit there, he just beat that pace car out. That was a perfectly timed pit exit.
Yeah, you gotta love that when it's that close. And, Tyler did not have a ton of damage, so he's going to come out ahead on this. If he did not do a fast repair, he probably stayed down there to take a manual repair. Dustin Suter also gets back up to the pack. Yeah, he had to have taken, as long as he was on pit road, he did a manual repair. So he's smart move by Tyler. He's saving his fast repair for later.
Yeah, and based on that action, I'm willing to bet that leads us to believe that they only have one quick repair.
I'm betting you're right. As pace car drops back in, there he goes, and leader will control the restart. Green flag in the air, and here they go. And it's Anthony Caron into the lead. He gets a decent bit of a jump over Lockwood here.
Yeah, excellent restart. And 1, 2, and 3 actually just sorted out their single file, and very good job those guys up front.
Yeah, and these guys know, they've got a few more laps, and then the caution will be coming out, and they're definitely taking it, playing it a little bit safer here. I think once we see that the caution at lap 13, I think what we're going to end up seeing is a whole lot of aggression coming out in the second part of the race.
And for those of you just tuning in online and watching what we're broadcasting over here, on lap 13 we will have a moment of silence and a still field to honor the 13 soldiers we lost in Kabul earlier this week.
And I actually have the list of names. I will try to get through reading it all on lap 12 if I don't get too choked up.
Well, I'm concerned about them getting slowed down. As much as we want to pay tribute, it would be awful for these guys to just rear-end each other's blowing up for lap 13.
I'm really hoping they throw that caution, middle of lap 12 and let everybody cross the start-finish line, come around one time so everybody's single file and playing nice, and that's when they do it. And we're starting to see a little bit of action mid-pack as Jim Dowman and Andy Shaner are side-by-side on the front straightaway, and these guys are definitely, Andy, it's right behind those two. It's Kevin Gironi and Dustin Sluter, and Dustin restarted back at 20th.
Yeah, they're looking pretty racy out there. I think Jim Downham might actually have a little bit of fight in him tonight. He's normally a driver that's not super aggressive, kind of lays back. He's a little too polite sometimes, in my opinion, but it looks like he's going to try to make some moves today.
You know who the fastest won the last lap by was Matthew Boston Wheeler, who we saw him and Lucas Gortman playing around a lot with how these cars handle, how much speed they can maintain, and cautions out on lap 9. Oh, looks like we had an issue. Jim Dowman, Kevin Gironi, both involved. Let's see what happened here. Oh, looks like the 28 just drifted up a little bit on the front straightaway, went off into the infield, and then clipped Kevin Gironi, and they both kind of came out on the short end of that one. So
for a second there, I thought Jim was going to get that all collected back up.
I really did too. I think if the car had not been on the high side, he probably would have. But you know what? Hey, it happens.
Yeah, racing's racing, and it can't always go the way we want.
This is true. And here,
in my case, it never does.
Oh, it never does in mine. How do you think my channel got its name? And, it's worth noting here, too, that our wish may have been granted by this incident because they are coming to lap 11 here. So they will not restart until around lap 13. They can delay that restart, and they will have an opportunity to do the moment of silence under pace conditions without any issues.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. As much as we don't want to see a ton of yellow laps, I think that's the best way to get the cars respectively pulled over and take the time to do what they want to do out there.
Yep. I have to agree. And, if you guys are watching on Facebook, Twitch, or on the Back Sports YouTube channel, take a moment, hit that share button real quick. Let's see how many people we can get watching we've got one lap till I will attempt to read all the soldiers' names, and then we will have a moment of silence as all the drivers pull off track. And I'm actually thinking I should probably start trying to read through this list now. So, okay, here we go. Do you want to? Why don't you list off the 4 names from TDR that you guys were memorializing tonight first?
Sure. So the 4 people we've lost that were close to the TDR family are Avis Daniels, Suzanne Tresoris, Michelle Brennan, and Joe Downham.
All right. And I will attempt to get through these 13 names from. Maybe. All right. From the Army, Staff Sergeant Ryan Knaus. From the Navy, Hospitalman Maxton Soviak. And my apologies if I mispronounce a name. I'm did as much as I could researching. And then the rest were Marines. Sergeant Johanny Rosario Picardero, Sergeant Nicole Lee, Staff Sergeant Darren Hoover, Corporal Hunter Lopez, Corporal Dagan Page, Corporal Humberto Sanchez, Lance Corporal David Espinoza, Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz, Lance Corporal Riley McCollum, Lance Corporal Dylan Marola, and Lance Corporal Kareem Nikawi. And
Hearing that list of names, how many people that is that, lives lost unnecessarily.
It really was. And I know it looks like everybody's stacking up side by side. I'm guessing Andy's going to extend the caution here in a minute. We'll keep an eye on the pace car. But regardless of what they do at the line, as we are on lap 12 right now, once lap 13 goes out, we will be silent for one full lap.
Yeah, it looks like they're stacking up and rolling around now.
And the lights are still on the pace car, which means they will not attempt a green on this one. So they did extend it, and they will do it on this lap. So and I got to say, it is awesome of the TDR family to go to this length, especially on this short notice. You guys did awesome, bud.
That's a big part of what we do is working with veterans, people with mental, physical disabilities. They can't race anymore. They never had the chance, and honoring our heroes is a big thing that's very close to our heart. And as we come into this moment of silence, I just got a note over in the one of the falling was an expecting father.
Oh God.
And he actually has a GoFundMe, so if you guys want to look that up, he's trying to raise $100,000 for his child's college fund.
All right, they are crossing the start-finish line. We will be silent for the next lap. thank you all for being patient with us, and that moment of silence for the those we've lost. And here came the fun part. I was worried about this, Tommy. How far ahead the pace car, because they couldn't get the pace car to stop. So how far ahead the pace car could actually get in that time frame?
You know, it would be nice to get iRacing on board with some of this memorial stuff we do. Like, there should be a park pace car button for this kind of event, right?
Yeah, that would actually be cool. I might have to ask them about that. I might send a tweet out about that later if I can. If one of my kids gets home to show me how to work Twitter.
Especially coming up on Memorial Day and Veterans Day and these other events that I'm sure a ton of leagues want to do something similar to what we do here. We're not the only ones that are out here, paying tribute to our fallen heroes. So, why not? Let's make iRacing do it.
Hey, that is an awesome deal, and definitely with TDR on board, I am sure we could probably convince them. You guys have, I can't remember how many members I saw as of today. Wasn't it like you guys are up to 1,000 members now?
Well, they come and go, so we've been fluctuating between 999 and 1,000 days.
Well, you just need to get 5 more to make sure you stay with that number as the pace car drops in.
We'll get there, I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah. And here they go, green flag, and now's when things are going to heat up. Nobody's been to pit road unless they needed repairs, and holy cow! Look at that outside line shoot off the line. Somebody up front missed a shift, or this is a planned move as Greg Bruzow just shot by the whole field to the lead.
That is not the first time I've heard Greg Bruzow shot by the whole field.
No, not really.
He does a tremendous job. He runs in the Friday Night Lights series with TDR, and he does a tremendous job in those street stocks.
Yeah, he does. And don't forget, when the TDR versus Nowski series, I mean, he was, he might have a mid-pack finish, but you always saw him, if he was restarting toward the front, he was in the lead in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, Greg Bruzow, I mean, he brings a ton of speed. He actually does race in real life, and his niece, I believe, Shanna, is a young female driver, 14 years old, and she brings a lot of speed in the street stocks as well.
Holy cow, we've got one really slow in the middle through 1 and 2. Not sure what happened, but look at the car currently running in 5th place. Dustin Suter, who started way back in started in 20th, has been back to 20th once, and is now in the top 5. So he is definitely working the draft here in these next-gen cars and making his way to the front really well.
Well, one thing we talked about earlier was the aero and downforce package and how easy it is to maneuver these cars around the track. And I think Michigan's got a lot wider, and it's a little easier to climb from the back to the front as long as you're keeping your nose clean.
It definitely seems to. I mean, in any car it is, but in these cars it definitely seems like it. These guys are, they're going to be using the draft, and a lot of these guys probably have not raced in a next-gen car on a track this big, in a field this big, so they're still learning where they can get that draft. They're finding all of a sudden having a run, and it may be coming by surprise, but some of them are going to learn really, really quickly and make their way up towards the front. So there's no telling the way this thing is going. There's no telling as they're 3 wide off into the turn.
I wouldn't want to do that in the current Cup car.
No, not at all. But, we've talked about it in the past. I think when we were I think we were here in the Cup Series when the TDR versus Nowski. No, we were here in the Xfinities, and you could see how not planted they really were. And these 3 are not exactly giving each other any room. As they drift up, we knew something was going to happen. Now the 12 is in the wall.
Well, it's inevitable. Things are going to happen at this track. It's a car. A lot of guys, even if they have raced them, just not enough time has passed for them to have a lot of experience. So we're going to see, I think, a few more cautions before this race is out.
I would have to agree, especially when you see, and let's rewind the tape just a little bit and see what happened, as it was Jeremy Gaiman that was up. Jeremy Gaiman got caught in a second incident after the 12 went into the wall. He was running up on that high line, and as the 12 came down, he clipped Gaiman and sent him in to the outside wall. Fortunately, he was wise enough to hold the brakes, stay up there on the wall, because there was a huge pack right behind him.
Well, speaking of Jeremy Gaiman, he was the first name put in the hat for some of the prizes we're going to give away today. What do you say we shake that hat up and make somebody happy?
All right, let's draw some names.
Let me go grab the cowboy hat. It's a shame we didn't think to put our cameras on here so people could see me physically shaking a hat full of paper.
You know, that we should have thought of that one sooner.
You know, this broadcast might look polished, but there's nothing fancy going on in the booth here.
No, not at all.
All right, so the first prize up for grabs is a Makoni setup of your choice. Not the best prize out there, but I didn't put them in any particular order. The first name out of the hat that is going to get this setup will be Jim Downham.
Awesome.
And I'll make a note of this over on the prize list. And Jim Downham, actually, 2 of his family members are in the list of 4 that we're racing in honor of tonight.
Well, that definitely is a good one for him to come out ahead on this one, you know, given everything. So awesome for him, especially to be the first winner.
Yeah, and knowing Jim and his generosity, I'm willing to bet someone else ends up with that setup. I think he's probably going to give that to someone he feels is more deserving. But as much speed as he's gathered over the past year or so he's been racing with us, I mean, maybe that setup's really what puts him over the edge and makes him really competitive.
Could be. I'm just sorry. I was trying to look at some information, and apparently while we've been sitting here I got 8,000 messages and we're filling up my phone screen. So
well, I don't know how many subscribers you have over on your side, but we've got a 1.24 thousand over here at Back Sports, so a lot of people that want to talk to us.
Definitely. So Striker James dropped in, and I'm wondering why Striker's not in the race. But he said, hey guys, hope all is well. And of course, one of our favorite peoples, Becky Flowers, saying hello guys, and y'all hope you guys have a good day. So, and we will be expecting Becky Flowers out on track before too much longer.
You know, last night, Andy talked me into putting Becky in the booth.
Oh, how'd that go? I am so jealous.
Not well.
Did you get in trouble, Tommy?
Becky did great. I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
And we just got a message over on the YouTube side at Back Sports that that fundraiser I mentioned for the expecting father, they actually did raise that $100,000, and they also covered the baby shower list for his wife.
Wow, that is awesome. Hopefully they're doing a lot of stuff for that. I know there's a lot of questions that came out of this week, and obviously we're not going to get into that, but the fact that hey, everybody set their differences aside to pull off stuff like that. I'm sure there's stuff for those other families, especially in their hometowns. I saw some stuff out of some hometowns this morning. I wish we could have had every bit of information possible, but I can tell you it's just awesome, the links that everybody is going to help those families out. So
yeah, and I know as broadcasters, you know, we shouldn't mix politics and pleasure, so to speak. But our hearts go out to all the veterans out there, the guys that served overseas, that their families are now dealing with the turmoil mentally of what's going on with that situation as a whole. So
yeah,
our hearts go out to everyone who did serve in that conflict over the last 20 years, and you know, Godspeed processing all this information as the pace car pulls off.
Yep, and green flag back in the air, down and away into turn 1. And how long before you think we see some 3 wide racing again? You think they'll give it a lap or 2?
Nope.
No. I would not. It just seems like about every. There you go. 3 wide through 1 and 2. Oh, almost have an incident. Everybody manages to hold it. That is one benefit of this this next gen package, is it's really easy to save the car. I mean, you got to be whacked pretty hard to completely lose it. And they're 3 wide and trying to get 4 wide through 3 and 4.
Yeah, and it looks like they're fairly comfortable 3 and 4 wide. They don't seem to be wiggling around a lot.
Oh.
I think we'll see 3 wide on a regular basis, as we got some smoke on the front stretch there.
Yeah, it looks like, and that is Andy. No, that is not. Is that Andy? Let's get a closer look at that car. That's not Andy's car, but he was involved. And let's see where this started. There's Andy up on the high side. Oh, yep, it looks like the 19 just got a little loose. They missed several cars. Andy manages to save it. I believe that was John Dalton involved in that. Yep. As you see, there is John, and Tyler Daniels barely manages to avoid that. Great save by Tyler, and good job by Dalton just keeping that car kind of in one place.
Yeah, I think Dalton got the worst of it, but heck of a job by Andy Shaner sawing on that steering wheel and getting that car back on the track, because I thought he was a goner as well.
Yeah, he was holding his breath and just doing what he could with the wheel. I've been in that situation. It ain't fun. And on a track this big, everybody is spread out all over the track. So there is a certain possibility that you're going to come out on this safe. But conversely, everybody's all over the track running multiple lines. So, and especially in these cars, how much room are you going to have? I mean, in a cup car or a truck car, or a cup car or a truck here, you have 2, maybe 3 distinct lines. We've seen about 5. So as these cars come into their own, it might be a situation where when you try and save that car, you got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way racing goes. And as we're under yellow, I've got a lot of stuff to give away. So let's go ahead and try to get 2 or 3 prizes out the door here. So many laps, so many prizes. So next up from McConey Setup Shop is Jeff McConey's How I Drive book. This is a book about his career on iRacing, tips and pointers for the average driver out there to maybe improve. And this book is going to go to the Brit himself from across the pond, Richard Browning.
Awesome.
Hopefully there's some good paved oval tips in there that he can share with the guys overseas.
That would be great.
All right, let me go ahead and get his name added to the list, Richard Browning. All right, next prize up is custom paint schemes for all 3 of the current generation Cup cars. These are the Back Charities and Tyler Daniels Racing paint schemes. Crazy Vet Fam on YouTube says it's a great book. He's read it. The custom paint scheme is going out to Marty Brown from Back Row Sim Racing. We'll go ahead and get his name added there as well. And let me get one more before we get to this really cool one. We'll do the really cool one after the next green flag run. So this will be a custom paint of someone's choice from BK Paints. Let me shake the hat up real good here. This one's gonna go to Kevin Guillier. Has won a custom paint from BK Paints.
Awesome.
And to those of you listening, we will make a post and tag everybody so they know what we got. And then I'll put everybody in touch with everyone else. So the next prize up, we're going to do it on the next caution, but it's going to be that LED lit laser etched TDR ribbon logo acrylic sign.
You could send that to me, and I could put it right over my left-hand monitor so that every time I'm in the car, which hasn't been much lately if I'm honest, but every time I'm in the car, you could actually see the TDR logo, just saying.
Well, as many bills as we've paid today with sponsors' names mentioned, I think you could probably just buy one.
Yeah, probably so. And it looked like everybody went to pit road on this stop. I'm double checking no, everybody did not. David Trumbley, Robert Trask, and the cars involved in that incident were the only ones to hit pit road. So still have not seen the majority of the field hit pit road.
Yeah, I think that they're expecting another yellow, and that yellow is going to be the one that sets them up good to go as long as we get a few more green flag laps in here.
Yeah, and we are just about halfway. So some of these guys are probably trying to split the difference here and see how long they can make it. And like we've mentioned a couple of times, everybody still a lot to learn about these cars. Base car is in. And green flag in the air is Chris Lockwood and Matthew Boston Wheeler get off like a shot.
Chris Lockwood, he came from Team Pujanowski in the TDR versus Pujanowski series, and that guy's got a lot of speed.
Yeah, he really does. We mentioned his name a lot in those broadcasts as they're 3 wide off of turn 2, right at the front of the pack.
Can't we just have one lap of no nonsense?
Nope, they're going to go for it, and they're going to stay 3 wide. And to turn 3, but that 3 wide is obviously affecting some speed. You got some cars going back just a little bit, and it looks like, yeah, it kind of looks like you're seeing the middle is kind of a sucker hole for these cars.
I was just thinking Lockwood must feel awfully lonely up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Richard Browning now up there with him, so that might help a little bit. A little further back, they're 3 wide, middle of the pack, and it looks like they're getting a little racy towards the back of the pack. I would expect to see some of this group possibly line up, and with the battling going on up front, the guys at the back could draft their way back up into this pack real easy. So this battle is not over yet.
No, and I think at the halfway point now, we've gotten past the caution, or competition caution, if you look at it that way. These guys are going to start speeding things up progressively, I would say probably in 10-lap increments.
Yeah, definitely so, although it's not as if anybody is being exceedingly patient out there. Off into turn 1, we've got a car sideways, one into the wall, one stuck in the wall as caution comes out. And it looks like Matthew Boston Wheeler, as we were just talking about him. Let's see what happened. Is he was the one, I do believe, that gets caught. And he got stuck in the safer barrier.
Is that a next gen thing?
It's a Michigan thing. Let's be honest. The 33 looks like he just snapped loose. Let's see who is in that 33. We'll try and get a better look at it.
And he certainly tried really hard to get out of that wall, as you see the rear axle just spinning forwards and backwards trying to break loose for that safer barrier.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of cars caught up in it. That is Anthony Caron. So let's try and get a look. As he comes off of turn 2, I could not tell if he got loose or if he got tapped. Let's see here. Oh, he got a love tap.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Off into turn 1, he got a big love tap, and actually almost had it corrected, but several cars get caught in that and at least have minor damage. Anthony has a little bit more than minor damage. It's worth mentioning at this point that the damage model for the next gen cars is very similar to the damage model for, say, your GT4 cars or your GT3 cars. It in a current gen cup car, it can take a certain amount of damage. In these cars, it really cannot.
I'm not a big fan of the visual representation on the damage package for this car. I see a lot of Darlington stripes on the left sides of these vehicles.
Yeah, I think that wreck we just saw might have a little bit to do with it. I've seen a lot of guys that come up from the inside and get onto the left side, but let's see if we can look through the field and see. Tyler Daniels got manually repaired last time, and his left side looks good. Trying to get a look at the right. Oh, the car right behind him. There you see Trumbley with heavy damage to the left side. But as we saw with the cars involved, when you looked at the front end, the look of the damage was almost no visible damage to the front grille. We'll have to see if that continues to be the case, but definitely an interesting note on the damage model.
Well, since we're under caution again, let's go ahead and give away a few more prizes here. Looks like I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 prizes left to go, and slightly more names in the hat than there are prizes left, but a lot of people are going to get something today. So the next prize up for grabs is the LED lit and laser etched acrylic TDR ribbon logo sign from Marvan Industries Incorporated. And I have a name, and I'm unfolding the paper. And that's going to go to David Trumbley. And of all the people to get it, I'm glad it went to a streamer. This thing's going to look really good behind that racing chair he's got in his streams.
Yeah, and given that he's been caught in almost every incident so far, that's a great consolation prize tonight.
Yeah, and David Trumbley, just a big shout out to his stream, Davey T, the letter E, the letter Z, on Facebook streaming. He runs a ton of TDR races. He runs mostly with us exclusively, does a lot for our community, and we've been floating the idea of him actually running his own league as well. So something to look for, but y'all check out that acrylic sign next time you're tuned into one of his streams. I'm sure it'll be lit up in the background there.
Awesome. What's up next?
Well, I'm going to save the button box for last because I do think that is the premier gift on here.
Yeah, and I already know who won that.
Oh, is your name in the hat?
My name's the only name in the hat when you go to draw for that one.
All right, so coming up next is actually going to be the same prize but 2 chances. So from Crazy Vet Fam, we have some back charities / Untitled Chapter Racing golf towels, some nice little towels that his wife had printed up for us. One of those is going to go to Matthew Wheeler.
Nice.
Who we will add his name real quick. And the other will go to Sonia Fonseca, who is paying attention in the YouTube channel. So congratulations, Sonia. You get a towel. Make sure to wipe Keith's sweaty seat off when he gets done with this event.
You know what?
Well, I guess we won't get her the towel that quickly, will we?
Probably not. I was going to say, as the pace car drops in and green flag's in the air, after this one, message me who does those, because I would love to have one of those. I'm actually in the process of collecting little things from all the groups and leagues I broadcast with, like shirts and stuff, so that I can show off some stuff in the when I'm in-car streaming. So that'd be awesome to get one of those towels. And plus, having MS, I sweat a lot. So having a towel handy would be epic.
Yeah, well, we thought the towel was a unique idea. It's not something you see a lot in the racing merchandise realm, and we're actually in the process of getting ready to launch our Tyler Daniels Racing store to help fund what we do here and get some more contributions for back charities. So there's going to be a lot of stuff that we've talked about that you may or may not have thought about within the racing community that's going to be available.
That is awesome, and it is getting really exciting mid-pack. Trying to see, as you've got about the top 9 cars, single file. Worth mentioning, Tyler Daniels now up into 10th. He has had some great moves here after everybody goes to pit road that time, so he is making his way forward. But this pack right behind him, led by Keith Fonseca right now, as Marty Brown, Anthony Hooker, Ashton Hooker, Jim Dowman, this huge crew, they are swapping spots literally every turn, every straightaway. You see them side by side. You get cars going all the way to the apron, and with the downforce these cars have, it would not surprise me, as they go 3 wide right in front of them, it wouldn't surprise me to see later in the race somebody driving the apron just to get a run underneath somebody.
Yeah, they are getting awfully racy. We're just past halfway, but being a 60-lap event, that is only 26 laps to go. So I think the intensity is going to continue to pick up. As I noticed Jim Downham now back up to 14th place from that incident earlier.
Yeah, he is making his way back to the front, and he's got a mess around him. He is definitely, goodness, look at this. There are 3 wide, and now we've got guys pushing each other forward. The 8 car was pushing. It's
Sorry,
getting,
I got excited.
yeah, no kidding. It is getting way racy out there. Now, this is the first time I've seen the next gen cars race and been like, you know what? This ain't bad. So I think it's some of these we've got a car spinning off the back. We've got a wreck on the back straightaway. Caution is out. And it looks like that is Bob Berlew. Looks like Ashton Hooker involved. And, Ashton Hooker gets caught. Let's rewind a step and try and figure out who all was involved here. As it looks like Tyler Daniels is caught in this. And it started right there as the 11 goes to the bottom. The 15 drifts up, catches him, and the 66 was actually trying to avoid hitting Tyler Daniels and just managed to catch him. We'll rewind one more time here and take a look. We've got a lot of cars going to pit road, and remember earlier, Tyler Daniels was involved, got a decent amount of damage, and yeah, the 66 moved up, and they just had nowhere to go. Tyler Daniels had minimal damage. He stayed on pit road, almost just came out at just the right time, and saved his fast repair. That might actually be that might have been one of the smartest moves of the race so far. And good evening to Otto Cruz, who just dropped into the chat.
Hey, Otto, welcome to it.
And hey, we've got a caution.
Yeah, we're going to give something away. Before I give something away, I'm not going to put you on the spot with an answer, but Crazy Vet Fam Kurt, who runs our Veterans Only League, floated the idea of trading you a button box and an iFlag for some broadcasting for that league.
If I could work it in, I would definitely be interested.
Yeah, it's I think it's Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern is when they were running. This is one that Andy and I were doing at Back Sports before our professional lives made it difficult to do so. We've been trying to get back to it, but I won't hold you to an answer, but it looks like the offer's out there.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely shoot me a message. I am all about doing stuff for vets, and I can always use another button box. And I've actually had an offer for somebody who was making iFlags a while back, but the only issue I have with those is because of the nerve condition in my face, that flashing was painful to watch. But I'm definitely down for a button box, and always happy to help some vets out.
Awesome. So Sonia just popped in the YouTube chat, and she's already picked out a spot for her towel in the gaming room.
Nice.
Sonia is wife to Keith Fonseca, who's in this event, and you know what they say: a couple that races together sleep some in different places.
Yeah. Before we get into trouble, why don't you draw a name?
Yep. Let's go ahead and give away from Did It Myself Designs the custom cross-stitch embroidered number keychain. This prize will go out to Greg Brazo, our friend from across the northern border. Greg Brazo, and I believe he runs the number 12, but
Yes,
I'll go ahead and pull some artwork off of his car and get that over to the lady that does these. The next one up is another keychain. This one is a 3D resin keychain, so it's a little different, but same concept. You can get your initials or the number printed. Oops, I ripped it. And that's going to Chris Lockwood, a name we mentioned earlier, a name we've mentioned in the past, and a name I imagine we're going to mention many more times going into the future.
And he's sitting in fourth right now. So, you know something I noticed? As you draw names, whoever got their name drawn last tends to be involved in the chaos next time. So it might be like the
broadcaster's curse.
Exactly, the broadcaster's curse has come back to haunt us.
All right. So I'm going to try to get one more in here before we go green. This is one with two names. This is going to be the community coffee pack. They can either get fresh ground coffee or K-Cups. These are going to go to Lonnie Mixon from Sunny South Raceway, who is actually sponsoring the winner's trophy for this event.
Awesome.
Y'all go check out their Facebook page. They do a great job with media. We had a TDR track day recently, and they were gracious hosts. Probably one of the most fun times I've ever had at a track personally. And Robert Trask will also be getting some fresh Louisiana coffee from Community Coffee.
Yeah, and you know, I need to look into getting some from them because when I was still working, we had that in our break room, and you know how often I'm drinking coffee.
So we've got two more prizes. We're going to hold these to the next yellow or the end of the race, whichever comes first. That's going to be that set of 10 hero cards of your favorite driver, probably Doug Burns, I'm sure. And that custom Back Charities button box from Crazy Vet Fam as the pace car is off.
And here they go, green flag. You saw Lucas Gortman, who is the TDR IROC champion. He was playing around inside the pace car there for a few minutes. And the running... Oh, we've got a wreck through turn one already. Caution, back out.
Wow, I wasn't expecting to give something away that soon.
Let's see what happened. It looks like Robert Trask gets caught again. He was just right there. The 8 car came up as he was coming down, and the 23 does a flip and caught some air there.
See, I think Robert Spotter told him he won the coffee, and he was like, you know what? I'm done. I just need to go home and drink some.
Probably so. I'm trying to see who...
And that leads a lot of credibility to your statement about winners getting in accidents.
Yep. Let's see if I can get a look at Anthony Caron's flight. He gets hit hard and then
Whoa.
Up into the air, gets a car underneath of him that sends him spinning and higher up into the outside wall. So definitely not the way he wanted the night to go. And we probably at some point should check and make sure he has his pilot's license and didn't violate any FAA regulations with that spin.
Well, with the spin and being airbound, I'm not sure if he's actually being a helicopter or just a propeller in that instance?
That's a valid point. He could just be the propeller on this one. Lucas Gortman, though, still up in the lead, IROC champion, and the IROC season is closing in on us again.
Yeah, it will be starting in mid to late fall. The top 30 drivers in TDR points, and you can go to the Tyler Daniels website and look and see how we score all the IROC stuff. But it basically rewards participation. The more you participate, the more points you get, the more likely you are to get into our IROC series. It's not about how many races you win, it's about how many races you show up to. We have, again, the top 30 get in. We have well over 250 drivers with IROC points right now.
Nice. So that it could be a full 43 car field.
We have easily probably 40 or 50 cars within that top 30 cut line, within 20 points of being at number 30.
Well, things will get dicey, and I know given the prizes and just the bragging rights of being the TDR IROC champion, everybody wants a piece of that one.
Oh yeah, a lot of swag goes out, t-shirts, medals, everyone who participates gets a little something. The people that finish a little better will get a little something extra, but that crystal trophy and the bragging rights, the TDR 2021 IROC champion, that's what everybody really wants.
I can tell you, Lucas still, I see from time to time in his posts, as soon as I learn English again, his posts, he actually comments about being that champion about once a month, maybe a little more frequently. So it's awesome, and by him doing that, it keeps everybody out there motivated. So that's definitely awesome.
It's the TDR equivalent of having the last name McCann.
Valid point.
we got 2 prizes left, and I expect one more yellow after we go green from this one. So we're going to go ahead and give away the set of 10 hero cards of your favorite driver from Back Charities. It could be yourself, or it could be any driver, someone that you've run with that you idolize, even a real-world driver. We'll go ahead and produce that media for you. That's going to Bob Burlew. Bob Burlew added to the list.
Awesome.
And we'll make it 11. We'll make sure we get a Doug Burns in there. I'm going to need you to send me a picture of your car and a picture of you with facial hair.
Yeah, we'll make sure it has facial hair. It's finally growing back, so and pretty decent. Although my wife, every time I anger her, keeps threatening to shave me in the middle of the night, so I've got to really stop making her mad.
It's definitely I'm not one to judge how attractive a man is, but it took a lot of years off you, that's for sure.
Yes, I got comments like "boss baby" and some other really weird ones. So, yeah, I was really glad the day I woke up and rubbed my hand on my face. I'm like, oh, thank goodness, hair's back. All right, Lucas Gortman's going to lead him down. Jeremy Gaiman on the outside. Kevin Gironi and Chris Lockwood in the second row. Keith Fonseca, David Trumbley in the third row. John Dalton, Andy Shaner in the fourth row. And Anthony Hooker and Jim Dowman now rounding out the top 10.
I think 3 laps, we see another yellow.
3.
That's what I think.
It's these guys are really starting to push it more. They've been out there for over 40 laps, and they're starting to get the feel for these cars and what they can do. And some of these guys really starting to see what they can make work. And green flag back in the air, down and away goes Lucas Gortman. That outside line does not get a really good start though.
And I think we've seen that time again. That outside line tends to get a little choked up on the restarts, and I'm not sure if it's one particular driver up there, or maybe it's an issue with the car and track comp.
It might be that car, and with a 5-speed gearbox, sometimes it's a little tricky to know which gear you really want to start in. But as they come down the back straightaway, they are all just nose to tail, and it looks like we might even get some more 3 wide off into turn 3. Yes, we will. Holy cow. And a little bump coming out of turn 4.
Well, I know those people that are tuned in watching this race, as much as we don't like to see a lot of yellow flag driving, there's some people out there with a name in the hat that might still be in the...
This is true. So they better be... And there's still 3 wide all the way around the track, and it's great to see a lot of 3 wide racing, but man, it's getting sketchy as the 18 car gets a little push down to the inside. We saw a couple guys down on the apron. Looks like there were some problems. And it looks like Andy Shaner's got some left side damage now. Might have something to do with what was happening just a moment ago.
Yeah, it was 16 to go. It is time to start making moves, and hopefully they're making good ones.
Yeah, and Lucas Gordman up front. He's got Kevin Gironi on his back bumper, but Chris Lockwood keeps looking for a way around. He drops to the bottom here, and they're 3 wide right behind him again.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's getting, oh my, 4 wide down the back straightaway, off into turn 3, and oh my goodness, we almost had an incident there.
I can already smell the name coming out of this hat.
That is hilarious and pretty accurate too. There is, interestingly, a small group. It looks like about 5 cars off the back, undamaged, and I'm thinking these guys might be some of the wiser drivers right now. As the way things are looking up front, Marty Brown's leading a group around that are just staying single file, and I'm guessing another caution is going to come, and those 5 individuals, including Tyler Daniels in that group, they might be the safest ones on the track right now.
Well, and I'm wondering what pit strategy looks like, too, with 10 to go. I mean, I think everyone's good to go to the end. It doesn't seem like tires are an issue. The aero package seems to have these cars pretty well planted. But that might come into play, and the guys out back might decide to not go when other people do.
Yeah, and as they come back through 1 and 2, you see a lot of cars making some really gutsy moves. We saw Lucas Gordman and Chris Lockwood, I think it was, during practice. Oh, we've got 2 cars spinning on the infield. Caution is out again, and it looks like John Dalton and David Trumley gets caught again. Yep. And both catch some air. Let's see if we can see where this started.
Well, Trumley winning one of those premier prizes we had out there tonight, that laser etched TDR ribbon logo from Marvan Industries, should take some of the sting out of this event from them.
Yeah. Oh, just a hard bump. They were really leaning on each other pretty heavily going out of turn 2, and both of them came out on the short end of the stick there.
See, we need to get a sound effects box up here in the booth where we can play "Lean on Me," just that little clip of the song on command.
That's not a bad idea, and I'm going to look into that one now.
Well, if your name was in the hat, you might be able to win this button box and set it up to do that.
That's true.
Speaking of names in the hat, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 or 7 names in here, and one of these people is going to get a custom Back Charities button box from Crazy Bet Fam. And I've seen these things. They look really good. Kurt does a good job putting these together. I'm giving the hat an extra good shake this time. Oh, there's one stuck down in the corner. Let me pull him up, shake it up some more, and shake it up some more, and we're going to go ahead and pull the name out. Now, while I'm holding this in my hand, just a quick update from YouTube. Jay Loves, he says we need to get a good towing company sponsor. The Fonsecas have 6 kids, and we're only sending them 1 towel. Ugh. Sonia is a big fan of the community coffee. Lonnie from Sunny South Raceway says thank you for the coffee. And Lonnie, thank you guys for providing the trophy for tonight's event. And Lonnie's also a pretty good liar. He says we're doing a great job.
Oh yeah, definitely a good liar.
Yeah, Lonnie, we'll put you in contact with who makes these button boxes. It's one of the TDR members. Unfortunately, your name's already been drawn, so you're not going to get a free one tonight. But we'll make sure you know how to get one. But let's find out who is taking home that free button box. It is going to, and again, sound effects machine. Where's the drum roll button, Doug? Boom.
Yep.
Dustin Sluter. Sluter,
I believe.
Anyway, Dustin.
Well,
Dustin's going to be taking home that button box. And I think he was one of the later entries to get the hat in there. I think he got his donation into Back Charities just in time. I haven't checked what we have in there now, but as of last check, we have raised over $300 for the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. So thank you guys to all who contributed, and thank you to our awesome sponsors for providing these prizes.
Yeah, that is great. And it's great to, You kind of wish you could help every single animal shelter out there. I know a lot of them are struggling right now, but it's awesome that so much can go to that one in particular. So
Yeah, we chose this one. So Avis Daniels was Tyler Daniels' grandmother, and this was one of her favorite charitable entities. So when we did the first memorial race for Avis Daniels, that was the charity we picked, and then just in keeping with tradition annually, that'll probably be the charity we select every time.
awesome. And it's worth mentioning that the How to Suck at iRacing community, we've done a lot of charity work this year. Obviously, working with you guys has helped. But here in 2 weeks, I guess, the Stream to End MS is doing a 48-hour stream, and I am taking 4 hours of that, starting at 7 Eastern in the morning, by the way. But anybody that's interested, make sure you're following on Facebook, and because I know after the MS race, I don't need to try and do a 4-hour drive again. So I am actually going to put on some races, and I will broadcast them, talk to the drivers, and just have a little bit of fun that morning, but help get the iRacing community and some other groups involved and raise some awareness. So looking forward to that one. Not looking forward to getting up early in the morning, but...
Well, I was just going to say 7 a.m.'s a little early in the morning for me, but if I can try to get involved with that, I'd love to come run an event or help you out.
Hey, I have to get up at, for me, I'm in the central time zone, so it's 6 o'clock a.m., so yeah.
Maybe you should get some of that community coffee.
I think I do need some of that. I'm going to need a lot of that community coffee. That'll probably be the one time where I'm running away from my webcam to grab coffee.
Well, man, the pace car is off.
Yep, and here we go. Possibly the last restart. They'll have 9 to go at the line as Lucas Gortman continuing to lead here. And let's see if they make it through 1 and 2 this time. They're 3 wide at the back of the field.
That didn't take long.
No, and yeah, Tyler Daniels trying to come through that, and John Dalton, Anthony Karen, and Bob Berlew back there. And they're 3 wide in the middle of the pack. What in the world, guys? Richard Browning and Ashton Hooker have been involved in a 3 wide incident from leaning on each other so much earlier in the race, and here they go again.
Yeah, under 10 laps to go. It's really make it or break it time, and I'm sure all these guys are hoping they have a lot more make it than break it.
I'm sure they do. And, we've got a spin on the front straightaway. Caution's going to come out again, and let's see if we can figure out. I believe Tyler Daniels is involved in that. That's the 3rd time he's been caught tonight. The cameraman a little bit slow on the rewind.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Tyler's been involved in 2 or 3 incidents tonight. I don't think any of them have been his fault. I just think it's been a lot of wrong place at the right time.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, looked like the car in the back just got loose, might have gotten a shove up into the 41, and then chaos ensued. So, yeah. Heartbreak for Tyler.
Gonna be a lot of apologies after this one. I wish I had some more stuff to give away.
There's a league I broadcast on Tuesday nights, and one of the things we have started, I think there might have been some netcode there. I do believe there was some netcode from the car that was behind
the 32. Yeah, I see that.
Let's take one more look at it, and let's see if we can get a little bit, well, maybe. Yeah, we may not be able to get a closer look in on that, but yeah, it looked like there might have been a little netcode, and that is one concern that has been mentioned with this next-gen car a few times is the prevalence of netcode in it right now.
Well, hopefully it's something that iRacing gets worked out before we start really seeing these things in a lot more official series.
I'm sure it is. New toys tend to, especially in the IT world, new toys tend to have problems. So.
Oh yeah.
One league that I broadcast, you mentioned apologies. One league that I broadcast actually we've learned to track who gets their radio muted and seeing how many chat bans they get during the race, how many people get muted and can't talk on the radio on iRacing. And I do believe there was one race. It was either earlier this season. Yeah, it was earlier this season. There was one race where the entire field was muted.
I don't doubt that. I definitely, I have a push to talk button for a reason, and I don't touch it for a reason.
Yeah, there's and when you add in this league runs for money, so when you add the money in, a lot of guys get really, really frustrated really, really easily.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons as we made a conscious decision to start up back charities to fund TDR was that we didn't want any money races, but of course running 12 weekly leagues we had to fund it all. So we'd much rather give stuff away, happen chance, names in a hat than have these guys out there racing for $100 bill, because I find that brings a level of competition that is pretty tight, but at the same time a lot of guys get money hungry and a little greedy with how they do their racing.
This is definitely true. I got to say that one thing about XCal, their owners are awesome, and they do a great job of keeping that under control. They do a lot of good stuff for the community. But yeah, when it comes down to the difference between first and second place finish, and you're racing to the line with 5 to go, guys get a little rough out there at times.
I can imagine.
I mean, it gets a little bit rough around me if I'm racing for the win and there's no money on the line. So,
well, sometimes that W is worth more than the money.
It definitely is.
Especially if you hadn't had any in a while.
And I have not. So, after this, I've got a truck race, and let's hope that I have a decent run here tonight.
My last iRacing win was trucks at Daytona last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. Mine was a Pro 4 race.
Those don't count.
Oh, well, then it was trucks at Iowa. I think. No, I've had more recent ones, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I've won a few Pro 4 races. I just find that vehicle easy to drive, very forgiving. And usually there's only 6 people in the lobby, so.
Yeah, well, I
only have to wreck 5 guys.
Yeah. Hey, if it's the checkers or wreckers deal, so.
Yeah, absolutely. The race we did last night, the Pro Light 2s at the Charlotte Roval, you need to go back and watch that broadcast. Don't judge us, but that race was intense.
Oh my gosh, I can only begin to imagine. Those trucks are so roly-poly, you get them on a road course, and they're a ton. I've done them at Laguna Seca, and that's a lot of fun too. So,
32 of them with local cautions only.
Oh my goodness, that had to have been chaos.
It was wild. And it actually produced some really good racing too.
Yeah, I can imagine, and some close, and you like you said, they're forgiving, so you can push those things pretty hard. As the pace car is dropping off, and they're going to have 4 to go at the line. Can they make it to the checkers under green this time, as green is out? And Lockwood is down and away, but, well, the outside line being the problem in this car is proven to not be true, as Lucas Gortman started outside and is back to the lead.
Yeah, I think a lot of it might have to do with the gearbox in these cars, but the drivers not being sure what gear they want to start in.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky. Any restart in these cars, you've got 5 gears to choose from, but most tracks, you've got 3 that you could potentially... Oh, we've got a little bit of wrecking, and they save it!
Hooey!
Wow! I'm trying to see exactly who that was. I definitely want to shout out that car going backwards right now. Is Kevin Gironi.
Black and orange. That was
a huge save. So great job by Gironi saving that car. And meanwhile, the front 4 just staying single file at the moment. Lucas Gorban's going to hold that bottom line down the back straightaway. That's a bit unusual of a strategy, but he's forcing them to go to the outside if they want to go around him.
They're looking pretty racy out there. 3 to go. Ooh-wee.
Oh, there it went.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
there it is.
And fortunately, only 1 or 2 cars get collected, but caution is out again. And Lockwood, heavy hit.
He had just saved it and then came right back up the track and off it went. It was almost beautiful until it wasn't.
Yeah, that's isn't that the way it always goes though? Yeah, he had the
right there
61, and as he tried to settle the car in, he gets collected again, and Back end is smashed, front end is... Oh, and then he collects another car there at the end. So several cars end up getting caught in that as well.
Yeah, looks like that car at the end just didn't see him there. Looks like that's Marty Brown in the 41.
Yep, that was unfortunately Marty, and he took a pretty heavy hit to the left front. And yeah, he's starting to... Yeah, he's got significant damage to the left front of that car, so he'll have to go get a repair. And looking to see, Tyler Daniels came by. Looks like he might have gotten a little bit of damage in that. Anthony Karen manages to avoid the brunt of it, even though he was right there. And several cars just drove right through. I'm looking to see if anybody else caught a bit of it as Andy goes to pit road. So he caught some on the left front.
It looks like, I'm just going through the field now, it looks like we only have 2 cars that aren't on the lead lap, one of them being the gentleman that was just involved in that incident, Chris Lockwood.
Yeah, and John Dalton as well, not on the lead lap. So great job by everybody managing to stay on the lead lap, and I think the cautions play into it a little bit, but some of these guys just managing to recover from incidents really quick, and there have been a few incidents tonight.
Oh, just a few.
Just a few.
Enough incidents for me to give away, 12, 13, 14 prizes.
Yeah, and look at this. Third place, Chris Rawlings, is really banged up, and he is still in third place.
And he's a name we haven't said a lot tonight. He's usually a guy that runs up front.
Yeah, it looks like he hasn't been involved in anything, but it looks like he's been getting some bump draft help. Yeah, he's had some pretty significant hits to the back of that car, and it looked like he might have had some damage on the right front. His left side looks okay, but no, his right front appears to be okay. Let's see when he comes around. Yeah, he's good to go. So just a lot of bump drafting for the 01.
Yeah, and while we're under yellow here, just a quick update from the YouTube chat. Lonnie Mixon is asking where he can find out more information about the endurance race you mentioned.
I'm trying to remember which endurance race I mentioned.
he might be referring to the 48-hour stream.
Oh, yeah, there is the 48-hour stream. You can find out more on the How to Suck at iRacing Facebook page. I also have I'll be broadcasting a couple hours of an 8-hour IMSA race from Daytona on the 18th, and that's a fundraiser for autism, and you can find information about that on the How to Suck at iRacing Facebook channel as well. And all those links are on our website at htsai.net.
Yep, and speaking of fundraising, again, while we're under yellow, to everyone donate. Thank you to the sponsors for giving us some prizes to help get this event done, and a thank you still willing to contribute through this weekend, as all donations through the weekend will be diverted from TDR to the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. And
that is awesome, especially given the way things are right now. Money's tight everywhere, but awesome that you guys are able to do that.
Yeah, it's our community, like we mentioned earlier, knocking on 1,000 members, give or take, week in, week out. There's tons of people out there that have the ability to open their hearts and fortunately open their wallets as well.
Yep, definitely so. All right, this will end up being a green-white checkered. So they have to make, once the leader picks up the white flag, no matter what happens, they go to the checkered. And the pace car is about to drop off, and chaos is about to happen.
Do you think they make it? Or are we going GWC again?
I think we make it to the white flag, and then I think something happens after that. Gortman and Bruzeau down and away both get an amazing start as they go off into turn number 1. But there's some guys towards the back that are making their way forward. It is worth noting, 5th place is Dustin Sluter, who's been involved he was involved in like every wreck in the first half of this race. So his comeback is...
Even if he doesn't win the race, he did win a button box from Crazy Vet Fam.
This is true. And it looks like he's actually, he slips back just a little bit. And Lucas Gorman is, as he comes to the white flag, Greg Bruzeau side by side at the white. and they will make it to pick up the white flag, but that whole pack right there, it looks like about the top 8 are just under a blanket. The 3 wide off into 1. Greg Brazeau out front.
Yeah, next flag ends it.
And we've got a wreck out of turn 2, and several cars
Wrecking on the backstretch.
wrecking on the backstretch, but they're going to keep going to the line, and we're about to have a wreck into 3 as they're trying to go into 5 wide into turn 3. They do, and they managed to make it safely, at least for the moment. Off of turn 4, Gortman is in the lead. He's got help on the bottom. He goes all the way to the apron, a little bit of banging, and Gortman pulls off the win with Keith Fonseca and Greg Brazeau finishing second and third, and then wrecking right behind.
Oh, heck of a finish there. I like the move, going to the door, trying to edge out that final spot and pick it up. Didn't work out for him, but man, that was a heck of a race to the line.
It was.
And we've got a car flipping down the backstretch.
This is the wreck off of turn number 2. I was trying to take a look at it again and see, and that is Anthony Hooker that is upside down as they went off into the corner 3 wide, and just everybody pushed up a little bit, and some more than others, and that's what happens when you're 3 wide that close. He does stick the landing, though, so we'll have to score that with about an 8.3.
Looked good to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I was pretty impressed with that landing, so.
Goodness gracious, what a finish. What a finish.
It definitely was, and great run by everybody out there. And
yeah, tight action up front or wrecking the back. I mean, what more could you ask for in an oval race?
Right, and Lucas Gortman's going to, burn him down as he gets hit by the 7.
That's the nice thing about iRacing is after the event, you can really get out there and let them know how you feel.
Oh, yeah. And the post-race festivities do continue. Do we have the ability to talk to Lucas?
Yeah, let me see if I can get him dialed in, see if his radio's on. Let me pull this up. Lucas, TDR IROC 2020 champion and the winner of this feature event. This is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations on the W. It looks like your celebration was cut a little short there. How was it? How were these next gen cars at Michigan?
Oh wow! I mean that was insane. You know, like I've ran these cars a decent amount since they've came out, and that was probably one of the most fun tracks to run them at. That and Charlotte, like these 2 tracks are great. I mean, that was incredible. The battles, the runs you would get, and you just have to take them, because if you don't, you're going to go from 2nd to 15th, which I found out early in the race. You just got to take the runs that you get and just hope.
Yeah, it seems like the car was pretty well planted. You guys had a lot of ability to wiggle around and find those gaps and make those runs happen. Did the car feel pretty comfortable? Was it a quote, easy drive for you?
The cars are easy to drive, but you still have to put them in those spots to get them to go. You know, so it is easy to drive. You know, it is a lot of throttle time, and but you still do have to steer them to those certain areas. And on the fresh tires, they were a little loose, but once you got them warmed up, man, they were just planted. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on the W. We got a few more drivers that we're going to bring in here and interview. Can't wait to see you in IROC 2021.
Oh yeah, man! I look forward to it. Just want to say thank you to everyone at TDR. Everyone that back charities, all that. Everyone that helps. This put all this on. Yeah.
Absolutely, and thank you for putting on the show tonight.
Thank you.
All right, let me get him cut off here, and we'll dial somebody else up. So we got some drivers that won prizes. You got anyone in particular you wanted to bring in here?
Who was it that won the button box there at the end? That was
Justin Sluter. Let's go ahead and bring him in as the grand prize winner. Hey, Dustin, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy? Looks like he has his radio turned off. We'll give him maybe 15 seconds here to recognize us. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, pit, pit, pit. All right, so we're gonna throw Dustin back. He might not even have his radio on. Who else we got up here? We got Trumbly. Let's pull Andy in. He was the one that helped organize the moment of silence on lap 13. So let's bring him in and talk about that.
Yep.
Hey, Andy, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me, buddy?
I can't hear you if you're talking.
We are talking to you.
Howdy.
Can you hear me now? Is this a cell phone commercial?
I can hear you now.
Hey, we just wanted to pull you in. Obviously, you didn't get the W tonight. You looked really racy out there, hanging out in the top 10 for a little bit. But we wanted to talk more about what we did on lap 13 and these guys coming together for that moment of silence, and just say thank you for doing that to honor the lives of the 13 troops we lost earlier this week.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So glad that everybody just, took part in that. And I don't know what you guys had on the race on the broadcast side, but I can tell you right now there was 100% radio silence. Nobody broke it. It was awesome. We made sure we didn't take lap 14 before, we were able to get it stopped before that. Just phenomenal. I mean, it's all about memorializing the 13 heroes that we lost, this past week, and this is the memorial race. Obviously, we had our 4 names that were on it, but with the tragedy we had this past week, just thought it was fitting that we did something.
Yeah, and really good job getting it done on such short notice to get all the drivers dialed in, have the drivers meeting, and get everyone on board for it. And a big salute to the TDR family for, not messing something like that up. It's really great when that goes off without a hitch and looks as solemn as it should.
Yeah, like I said, I can't thank everybody enough who was on board with it. They were asking questions, coming to it, because we're running cautions when it happened. So obviously we just extended the caution for that period. But they were ready. Our leader, Mr. Lockwood, was, giving us updates. He's like, get ready to stop and that kind of stuff. And that way everybody knew exactly what they had to do. Everybody get space as well, because these cars don't want to stop very easy.
No, that was evidenced under caution a few times.
So for just that moment, everybody had it dialed in and focused on the goal and the mission. And I know with TDR, we're just a small part of the world here, but that just, if anybody was out there that was able to gain something from that, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned earlier, broadcasters shouldn't mix politics and pleasure, but there's a lot of stuff out there that veterans over the last 20 years are processing right now, and our hearts go out to them as well.
Absolutely. I mean, we had some we had some vets in this race here. I know we had Kurt was a huge donator to the prize pool for today.
We called that button box the premier prize.
Very nice.
I think that was the best thing out there to be given away today.
That's awesome, and we've done phenomenal with the donations. We're over $300 that are going to go to the Wyoming County Animal Shelter. They have no idea. It's just going to show up, and they're going to, be who's this Tyler Daniels Racing Group, but. Phenomenal effort by everybody, the whole community, really, just coming together for. Again, we had our 4 names and we had the 13 heroes, but it's not just them. We've all been touched by loss in our lives, and so, you can put that dedication out in this race to whoever you want.
Absolutely.
It's called the Memorial. Yes, we have our 4 names and our 13 heroes, but that doesn't mean you can't memorialize somebody.
Yeah, and what a way to pay tribute to those we love with a heck of a finish. That was some good racing. That was fun to watch.
Oh my goodness! I don't know if I made the right call, because it's like tires don't work, but they do. like first pit stop, everybody's going in for at the first pit stop. And I look at the tires, I go, they're 100%, 99, whatever. It just seemed like I couldn't make that pull towards the end. So I calculated everything because I watched Keith. Keith would come from the back and just fly through everybody. So that last caution, I decided I'm going to dump in, get a couple tires, just because, what do I have to lose, really? Either I'm going to get to the front or I'm not. So I went in there, then all hell broke loose. And I don't know where I restarted from, but I ended up with a top 10. And I'm pretty sure I restarted 18th or something. So, I was able to just weed my way through there, and just watching it in front of me was just, a ball. And there was nobody angry about anything. Everybody's just laughing and having a good time in the Discord and everything. And that was probably the best part about it. Everybody just said, we're sticking on the gas. Nobody's lifting. Whatever happens, happens. On that last lap. And it just was uncontrolled chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a couple made it through and a couple didn't. And that's kind of the way that went down.
Absolutely. Well, Andy, we got at least one more driver that I want to get in here before we go. But again, thank you for getting this together. Thank you to helping organize all the sponsors to get these prizes out there. And I'll be making a post later on and letting everyone know what they got.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys for being in the booth today. This one meant a lot to a lot of people.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and get Andy dialed in. You still with me, Doug?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
I would never leave you, Tommy.
You promise?
I promise.
Well, let's do, I know time's running short here on a Saturday night. You got time to bring in one more driver?
Oh, yeah, we can do one more.
I want to try to bring in Tyler himself if he's got his radio queued up.
Yeah, that would be
Tyler,
awesome.
This is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on us, buddy? Looks like he might have his microphone muted. I don't have him muted on the booth side, so... Well, Tyler, if you can hear me, I love you, buddy.
Oh, there he is.
There we go. There we go. How was the racing out there, my man? You gotta push the button? I see he's unmuted himself. I don't know. He might not have a push-to-talk button bound.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it looks like his radio's muting and unmuting.
Yeah, it looks like he might have an issue.
Tyler, would have loved to have got a chance to talk to you, but just want to let you know I love you. I'm glad that, behind you, we were able to assemble this team of guys that over the last year has grown into this crazy thing with 1,000 members. So it was for that, buddy. Thank you. And let me move him back up to where he goes, and I think that's everyone. We don't have any more prize winners out there, so let's thank the sponsors real quick and pack it up.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
Gotta pay those bills.
Gotta.
So huge thank you to Maconi Setup Shop, BK Paints, Marvan Industries, Crazy Vet Fam, Did It Myself Designs, Diaboletto Designs, Back Charities, Community Coffee, How to Suck at iRacing, Grid Finder. Am I missing one?
Sunny South Raceway.
Sunny South Raceway for providing the race trophy. And I think that's it.
I think that is it. I was checking as you went through.
A lot of sponsors on this one.
There was, and that's awesome that so many came together and made this work. So glad to help share some love to all of them.
Well, Doug, until the next one.
Indeed, sir. And a lot of fun tonight, bud.
Same.
Thank you guys for watching, and have a great night.